to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and as you can tell, this is going to be what if Deku had Shigaraki's quirk. Now, this actually is going to be a little hard because I had a very good way of twisting around a lot of events. So, let us begin. Clarifying, I can make a hero version of this, but I felt like making a villain version first is only proper. Now, let us continue. Let us cut to roughly about a good couple years. Tomura Shigaraki. He is wandering the streets as he's soaked and covered in blood. He's crying and calling out for pros, someone to help him, but everyone is too distracted, except for one boy. There is a pro hero, All Might. After learning that his master had a child, and what their exact name was, and exactly what they looked like, he set out searching for them. All Might would see a young boy covered in blood wandering the streets. As he rushes in, and he actually gets the boy up, picks the boy up, and the boy starts freaking out. He's basically waving his hands around, trying to keep them up in the air. All Might's confused by this until the boy explains exactly what happened and how his quirk awakened. This is whenever All Might realizes that the boy is trying to protect All Might, or protects other people. All Might would rush the boy to the hospital and get him medical treatment, along with the fact that he would also adopt the boy after everything that's happened. Now, let us cut to about roughly a couple years later. If not the next couple centuries, the next couple of decades later. My bad. I am cooking something downstairs and I'm waiting to hear the oven beep. Now, Deku is born. When he is born, he does not have his quirk awakened. Let us cut to roughly about a couple years later, to the age of 4 years old, where Deku is actually messing around outside one day, and he's actually really happy and enjoying fun, having a lot of fun. A lot of kids are playing tag with one another, and they are actually always messing around, if not pushing and shoving a bit too hard. Deku at this point, he does not have his quirk, and people are somewhat making fun of him a bit. Actually nicknaming him Quirkless. And people will be saying this to him, and over the next couple days, if not couple weeks, everyone else is awakening their quirk. Now, Deku on the other hand, he has not. And they are playing tag outside one day at recess. They are all talking. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Now then. Deku and everyone are playing at recess today, and people are actually getting mad and annoyed at Deku. He's actually somewhat a bit more confident in himself today, and they're all playing tag as he just keeps saying that he'll awaken his quirk, and it's going to be the best quirk he can have. Now, Deku and Bakugo, they're basically messing around with one another, and Deku, he slaps Bakugo on the shoulder as he awakens Decay. Now, as soon as Deku tapped Bakugo on the shoulder, Bakugo immediately began screaming in pain as he blasted an explosion at Deku. This blasted it upward, actually bringing, well, basically not scarring Deku, but it would scorch parts of his face, turning them a bit red. Now, after that happened, teachers would run over and find that both of these boys are injured, but Bakugo's is a bit, well, more severe, with part of his arm actually basically disintegrating. Now, people see Deku as he's touching the ground, and every single thing that he touches begins to break down. People are just thinking that that's his quirk, and it's very villainous. What's going on with that? As they basically get Deku up, Deku, he's immediately confused by what happened, as whenever he does essentially get his hands underneath him and actually go to stand up, he sees the cement and stuff turning and cracking into dust. As that happens, he immediately brings his hand up and it stops. As he's even more confused by it, he begins messing around a bit. By actually touching things and actually seeing what happens, he sees that whenever he does connect all 5 fingers, this actually starts happening again. But whenever he does lift one up, it stops. As he quickly figures out, this is how his quirk works. So it's like a pro hero, or like that pro hero. Okay. Well, at least I have my quirk. Deku, he's quickly thinking this as he looks up at Bakugo, and Bakugo's screaming and calling him a villain. As Deku would go to the quirk doctor, and Bakugo would go to the hospital. Now then, after this, Deku, he would be told that his quirk is unlike anything they've ever diagnosed. In fact, it is, well, there's only been one other case. And he does believe that in order to properly train and get a hold of his quirk, it's gonna, essentially, we might have to bring in some outside help. As he's saying this is whenever he would also say that after the incident with Bakugo, they are aware that it was an accident. And accidents do happen. But they also do want to get Deku signed up for and essentially trained into quirk therapy, with a pro hero as his instructor. Deku's confused on why he even needs to do this, and this is whenever the pro hero, Tomura Shigaraki, walks into the room. Deku's confused by who this man is, and this is whenever he would quite simply go on saying that, oh yeah, I found this picture and it was very cool because it still kept the hands thing. So I want to say that Tomura's wearing this style of outfit, but he does have that hand on his face. Because I'm not making that joke, never mind. Anyways, Deku's confused at who this man is, and he just watches as the man brings his hand up, and he actually does do the same thing Deku did by lifting his finger. He would take the hand off, introducing himself as, "Hi, I'm Tomura Shigaraki, the Decay hero. Well, pro hero, and my quirk is Decay." So, I'm kind of confused by this, though. You're a pro hero? That's pretty cool. Wait, my quirk's just like yours? Well, yeah, kid. One thing about it, though, is my quirk was a bit... It's hard to manage the decay, but after a minute, you basically do get a hold of it. Now, as Tomura goes on explaining, the doctor would be basically explaining and giving Inko schedules along with addresses and classes about all this stuff. As Tomura would go on saying that after he awakened his quirk, after I awakened my quirk, there was an accident, and I kinda accidentally hurt people around me. But I was lucky because All Might showed up. Wait, you know All Might's? Well, yeah, I do work with his agency, it's just... No, I'm not his sidekick. I still do try and be my own pro hero, but just working under him, you basically always are seen as a sidekick. So I try. So, wait, I've never really heard of you. Oh, well, I'm a rescue hero. Really? Well, yeah, your quirk is very good at rescuing, but you should know after the incident with Bakugo, was it? Yes, that's his name. That your quirk is also very, very dangerous and very, very, very bad. It's not bad as in, oh, I'm ashamed of it, it's something I don't want to have. Trust me, I've been there. But it's also just. How should I explain it? The person who has the quirk, it's all on them. It's not the quirk's fault. There we go. Now, after talking a bit more and basically getting a couple pictures of Shigaraki and talking, along with more explanations to Inko about how his exact quirk works, the way it happens, all this, all that, Deku would be given a pair of gloves. Basically, they're not the same style of these ones in the picture, or like these ones at all. Basically, I would say that they're like out of plastic, but let's just say they're like regular gloves, but some of the fingers are missing so that you don't connect all 5 fingertips, or all 5 fingers don't touch anything at once. So it's like covering 2 or 3 of your fingers, and only taking off the gloves to use your quirk. Now then, after that, that popped. Now then, a bit more explaining would go on as Deku, he would one day essentially be called a villain by Bakugo, and he would actually get bullied and beat up. As that happened, Deku, he gets a bit more angry as he would just start sliding off his glove, and Bakugo immediately starts running away with his crew. Deku just somewhat starts laughing a bit, as he just thinks that, well, at least Kachan won't mess with me anymore. Now, after that day, Deku, he went to go to court counseling. Now, while at court counseling, this is whenever he would meet another special case with another quirk similar to his. It does involve decaying things, but it's a bit different. It involves melting things down. He would meet Mina, who had a similar incident with her quirk, awakening. But this was a bit different. When Mina was born in the hospital and essentially handed over to her mother, they somewhat knew that she would have a quirk that would turn her skin pink. They didn't know about the acid, so they wrapped her in a regular blanket. But while essentially being fed, she accidentally used her quirk, burning and nearly killing her mother, burning through the blanket, through her mother's skin, and parts of her flesh. Now, after that, she was basically almost immediately put up for adoption, but doctors had to explain and her husband had to calm her down. But she learned to control the lethality and actually a bit more about her acid. Basically able to take things out of it to make it less lethal and pumping more things into it to make it more lethal. So, afterwards, these two would meet and they'd be talking, along with the fact that Shigaraki would basically allow them to use their quirks, since he's basically a teacher. They would actually go to Dagobah Beach very early, and I want to say they'd be about 5 or 4.5 years old, but basically I want to say Inko and Mina's mom would actually, they would trust that the doctors know what they're doing with letting this hero, but Inko would still come and so would Mina's mother, but they would actually start talking and getting to know each other better as they would watch as Shigaraki would show off his quirk by immediately touching the pile of trash at the beach and it just starting to turn to dust. Now, afterwards he would tell Deku and ask him if he would like to give it a try as Deku would slip off his glove. Deku immediately touches something with all 5 fingers, and it slowly starts to decay. As he brings his fingers up, this is whenever he would notice that the decay is starting to spread further and further through it. But it's very slowly, not as fast as Shigaraki's. He's somewhat confused by that, and Shigaraki would go on explaining that your quirk is a bit different than mine, but it's also barely awakened. My quirk has taken years and years to master, along with the fact that having a few accidents along the way has helped me somewhat become a better pro. So, I do want to train you guys, and I believe, Mina, it's your turn. As Mina would immediately just bring her hands up, she just starts essentially just throwing them in front of her recklessly as she's throwing acid all around the rubble. If not, well, not the rubble, but all around the trash. As this is going on, Mina's acid's barely doing anything, but Shigaraki just explains the same thing. Your quirk's in your infancy, you're very young. And from what he heard, basically she might be able to control how deadly it is. So just try thinking a bit more on essentially upping it. As Mina thinks about that, she actually holds out her hand as she starts firing more acid. As she would do so, she would actually find that this is, she's actually melting through a lot of different things. Along with the fact that after 2 to 3 minutes, she's actually able to melt through a chair, a metal chair. It's still very difficult, but with the fact that acid usually only takes about 20 to 2 minutes, I believe, depending on what type it is, it's fairly good. Now then. Okay. Okay, let's do that. Now then. Basically, after that, Deku and Mina, they would be talking more, and they would actually both be transferred into the same school. With Mina actually somewhat moving over to his school, and actually doing, Actually, no, let's have Deku move over to Mina's school. That's actually a bit better. Now then, I do believe Mina and Kirishima knew each other since grade school, so I believe I can introduce him here. This is whenever Deku and Mina, they're talking and basically having fun at lunch along with playing tag or getting on the swings and doing all this childish stuff. And eventually one day, Deku, he would go flying off the swings as he accidentally lands on somebody. He accidentally landed on Kirishima, and he actually asked him if he's okay. Kirishima would just say he thinks so, but he's... Ow, my head. Oh, I'm sorry, as Deku would actually hold his hand out, and Kirishima would immediately go to grab it. Deku immediately sees a tear on one of the fingers on his gloves as he just immediately just waves it upwards, just yelling sorry. As he actually looks at his glove, he would see that not both of the fingers are torn, so it should still be safe, but he actually just extends out his other hand. As Kirishima is confused, Mina would just come walking up saying that, he's not like that or anything, it's just his quirk. Huh? Oh, I plan on becoming a pro hero just like Mr. Shigaraki, but my quirk's just like his. Who? The pro hero, the rescue hero with Decay. I think you landed on me a little too hard. I don't know what you're talking about. As Kirishima's confused, Deku would just say that his quirk allows him to basically destroy anything with all 5 fingers he touches. But with the gloves on, he actually is fairly normal. He just looks a bit funny wearing them. As Kirishima is hesitant to grab his hand, Deku would just help him up. And Kirishima would be on his way. Now then, that is where I am going to be leaving off, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video. and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.